Hi, my name is Claudia Cohn, and I'm going to describe today how to solve question number 3 on final exam from fall 2013. So this question specifically concentrates on switch statements, specifically ones that incorporate different cases and involve breaks and even a default statement. So there's a lot of different components to be aware of when you're looking at these statements. And one of the common misconceptions that I have definitely had when I have done these problems is not going line by line and making sure that I have covered each one of the cases and making sure that I don't get tripped up on the break statements that are involved, which I'm going to explain in a few minutes about. And the way that I prepared for this question to be asked on the exam were a multiple of ways. So lab 4 and homework number 4 that are basically designing different card games that when you draw a different card that like each case is a different card value, and we had to make sure that we listed out every single one of the cases. And also the method that we had to create on lab number 9 that would eventually go into an array and would be a bunch of different cases of different adjectives, verbs, and other components of sentences in order to create string sentences. So these are very valuable when coding. So the best way that I was able to understand how to compose my own switch statements was by taking a look at Professor Chen's lecture 8 about comparing strings, modulus, switch statements, and system methods. So for this question, we only really need to understand switch statements. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk about switch statements. So switch statements are long sequences of if statements that can be replaced by a switch statement. So basically you would say switch and whatever you want be the variable used throughout each case that's going to be impacted depending on the case that's going on. So as you can see, that we go line by line through the case, and then whatever you're supposed to be doing whenever the case for value 1 is inputted, and then after this statement is completed, you're going to break, which means that you're going to end running that statement, and then that is what will be printed from your statement. Without a break, though, you will be going, if you were to, for example, if we were to have value 1 typed in without a break statement, it would go on to value 2 and it would print until another break statement, which would be located at the bottom of case value 2. So as you can see, there's some similarities between if statements, which we have already learned about, and switch statements. So basically, like if we were to have, our switch statement would be student for 1, if 1 were our integer value that would be used for the switch statement of student, we'll go to case 1 and we will print the word freshman. And then after that word, we will be breaking so that we do not go on to the next statement. And then if we were to have case number 2 be our integer, which student is equal to 2, then we would have the word sophomore printed out, and then after sophomore were to be printed out, we would break the statement. And then if we were to have, and then we would start from the beginning, and then if we were to have a 3 be student be equal to 3, then we would be printing out the word junior, and then after junior would be printed out, we're going to break and end the statement, and so on. So as I was saying before, if these cases did not have a break statement in them, it's removed, then the code will print both freshman and sophomore because it will continue to run until break. And it's called a fall through in the switch statement. And in order to get out of the switch statement, you're going to have to use the word break, so it will just keep running if you don't have the word break there. So if the word default is listed at the end of the switch statement, basically if whatever student is equal to. If student's not equal to case, I guess like 2018 or 2017 or 2016, then you automatically go to the default statement and you print not sure. Sometimes it's optional, but sometimes it is necessary in case your input needs to be so specific that like you might not actually have your input be an option to be listed as a cases. So if, for example, this one, that if student were to be equal to, let's say 2019, it will print out not sure, because of the fact that it will automatically go to the default case at the end. So our question is basically asking what is printed by the following lines of code. And I kind of really enjoy solving these problems because of the fact that like if you go step by step, it's really cool to be able to mentally print out what the computer will usually be solving to be printing out. So here is our example that we're going to start off with. So because I like going step by step, I always like to put a nice square over what we aren't up to yet. So basically, to start it off, we know that integer my value is equal to 3. So that means that we know that we're going to be jumping, and then we're going to be using the switch my value, and we're going to be jumping to case 3 because our int my value is equal to 3. So the minute we get to case 3, we realize that my value needs to be multiplied by 2. So automatically, our my value is actually going to change to be equal to 3 times 2, which is equal to 6. Our new my value is now equal to 6, and we can tell from the following line, we're supposed to be printing out good afternoon and my value. So the first line that we would be printing out is good afternoon 6. Now, depending on whether or not we do not have a break statement after this, so we're going to be going on to the next case. So for case 4, we're supposed to take the my value that has now become 6 and subtract 2 from it. So 6 minus 2 is equal to 4. And then we go on to the next line. And for that, we're going to print out good evening and 4. So the next line that will be printed out would be good evening 4. Now, let's see if we have a break statement. We do not. So here is case number 5. And now, case number 5 does not have anything listed with it, so we're just going to keep going because there's no break statement. So then we go to case number 6. And now we take our new my value, which is 4, and we're actually going to subtract it by 2. And so 4 minus 2 is equal to 2. So my value is now equal to 2. Then, after we complete that, we're going to see that system .out.println says we're supposed to print out good night and 2. So this now prints out as good night 2. Then we go on to the next line to see, and we have a break statement, which means that our code is done running and we are complete. And so we can go on to the answer and we can check our answer, and here are the lines that we have printed out. Good afternoon 6, good evening 4, and good night 2. Again, this is Claudia Cohen, and this is CSE 2.